We are heading into the end of the 7th month of a 4-month renovation, and our contractors have all but disappeared and left me to pick up the very messy pieces. Let's find out if I can claw my way to the end or if I'll lose my mind in the process.
Whispers of another life, footsteps fading, feeling haunted, chasing down the
Whenever you're ready.
So we've just set up our dining table. I didn't get any footage of it because we had some guys bringing upstairs, and this is the table that we had in California. Absolutely love it. And then these are the Athena Calderon chairs from Crate and Barrel. I got the color maple, which is like a faux mohair, which is going to be quite pretty. And because it's faux, it's a little more affordable. But Athena Calderon does such a beautiful job with her furniture. It's like elegant but modern, with like a little arc to it, which I like. And we're just going to open one chair just to see it until we move in next week. We'll never set this in too.
Oh, here's the big reveal. I just realized I haven't seen them in person either. I love them. This color is prettier in person than expected. I'd even gotten a swatch, but still. The back of the chairs is solid oak and the table is stained white oak like the kitchen. I knew they wouldn't be a perfect match, but would hopefully go well together. I was right.
It's a chair.
Yeah, it's nice.
Come over for dinner. So we are at the finishing stages. As you can probably see in your peripheral view, we're doing some touch-up of the walls and sanding. Actually ended up hiring a handyman team outside of the contracting team because I really honestly wasn't satisfied with the quality of the work of the contracting team. They left a bunch of undone drywall, tape was showing, so I brought in a plastering team to help really finish up those details. I'll show you some of the work that I'm talking about. Meanwhile, while they're working on that, I'm going to be doing the ceiling of the tile and grout. And I want to show you where I ordered from, a company called Healthier Homes. And I did my research because I want the tile, which is a natural stone, both marble and travertine, to stay looking as it is. So I don't want to put a sealer on here and have it be shiny or change the color, especially with the travertine. The travertine would get shiny and darker, and I really didn't want that. I just want it to look like it's very earthy. I also didn't want to put a toxic sealer on there. This is the product that I researched and ordered, and it's called an impregnating sealer. So that means that it will basically be put onto the tile and the grout. I'm gonna actually use a little reusable bucket and then dip my brush into it to I guess, paint it onto the tile. But also it comes with a spray bottle. So the other option would be to put the sprayer in, spray it, and then wipe it on. I just feel like the brush might get a little deeper into the grooves of the grout and such. So that's what I'm going to do. But like I said, Healthier Homes, that's the non-toxic grout and sealant. So highly recommend looking them up. And again, it won't change the color or the sheen of tile. Also, we need to refinish these doors. So these need to get sanded. And this was another thing with the contractor. They just put them up. They left all the pencil marks to where they were installing. And then I guess they think this looks finished. I do not think it looks finished. Didn't ask me if I wanted anything more, just put it up and left it. Trying not to be too irritated because I have really appreciated them up until this point. But the finishing work is, you know, like the last, 15%. And it's arguably some of the most important. I mean, it's all important because you want, of course, the inside of your walls to be healthy and safe and sound. Like we did the rock wool in the walls so that our insulation is really powerful. But the finishing work, which of course, as a person who really focuses on the details are what matters most to me. So anyway, these doors have to get sanded. There's one here, there's this door here. And then I'll show you some of the ways they left this as well, which is just really difficult for me, but you'll see in a few of the upcoming shots. To finish the doors though, I also went with a non-toxic company that I have used before called Livos, Livos. And I'm using the natural for all the windows. So this is a natural sealant. It's like the color is natural, so it's basically a clear. And so I'm going to use that on all the wood windows, on the internal of the windows. And then on all the doors, I'm using a color called white oak. So I'm going to use it on these birch doors down up here. And then on the side door in the kitchen, I'm going to use the white oak, but that's on a Douglas fir. But I tested it on both and I really like it. It kind of just takes out like any peachy or anything. It just gives it a nice little deeper stain. I don't want these doors too dark because I want them to complement the color of the wall, and then also the slats that are this deeper color. So I didn't want it to be the same. I just wanted it to be matching. So let me show you a few of the details I'm talking about. Okay, we just left this hanging because we didn't have an anchor, so they just left it hanging here, I guess, for me to do it. And then, see how this nail is sticking out here? Left all of this just open, unfinished. And then all of these nail holes are sticking out. And then when you close the door, there's a gap. And then, you can see here, like all of this, none of this got caulked or anything. And then over here, they put drywall, but they just left it all rough. And they were like, okay, all done. And then the caulking, first of all, is not done well, but also they just stopped behind the water, which that's where the water, the spout is right here. So you would think like water would most likely splash here if it's going to splash. Here around the windows, you can see it's like everything was gapped, so it started to get filled in, but like there's a gap. He caulked it partially. I see it's just partially, but then not all the way down. And then this is all caulked where I've painted. So you can see it wasn't taped, it's just like splattered out. It's just really poorly done. And then up here you can see it's just gapped. There's like a partial shim. The caulking here, so I got a gray caulk to match. So he taped the baseboard, but he didn't tape above, and so it's just like all this. And I don't understand what's going on here. So it's just really poorly done. So I'm gonna come in with a scraper and scrape the tops of these. And then what I'm gonna have to do is probably re-caulk some of it. And then I'm gonna have to repaint a line all the way around in order to even out where the caulk is. Not good. If you're at home doing this yourself, don't do that. And if you hire a professional, make sure it's the right one. All the way around the doors, he started the process, but then I just had him stop because this needed to be taped, and instead of taping it, he just used joint compound and put it over the top, but it really needed to be taped so that it won't continue to crack. Like, you can see where the crack is already, and this is all fresh drywall, and then you could see the seam, and none of it was taped well, so it's just gonna crack. So my handyman guys are coming in to get all of this fixed up. So I had the contractor who was working on it just stop so that I could get it done properly, and then we'll go ahead and repaint. Okay, let's talk about the skylight for a second. So I'm not sure how it happened that the skylight got chosen for me, and I didn't choose it. I'm not exactly sure what went on. Like, they knew I wanted a skylight, and I guess it was just like one of those things where I missed the boat. So anyway, they picked one, and it came broken. And so they were like, oh, we're gonna exchange it. And they were saying the ones that were available that day had a shade on the inside of the glass, which I didn't want. I just wanted it to be nice and open. Then when I came in, the new one was installed, which I assumed didn't have the shade because I specified that I didn't want a shade. It came with a shade on the outside of the window, which I guess was optional, but once they had it installed, they couldn't remove it. So now I have a shade. In order to alleviate, because it had like a chunky frame on it, I just had them drywall up to the outside of the frame. So that way it looked less like there was a shade in there, more just like a window. But now they drywalled the shade inside. So I wanted to be able to have the shade come down when I wanted it and go up since I had it. But now they drywalled it so that the shade is stuck inside the drywall. For a window I didn't want to begin with, partially because it's acrylic. So I wanted one, which I specified that I didn't want any acrylic windows. I had all of our windows replaced that were acrylic windows with wood windows. And then over here, it was a steel frame window in the bathrooms. But they put an acrylic one in. But by the time I saw it, it was too late because it was stuck inside and they had done the roof and it was a whole thing. So I learned that all I need to do is have the roofers come back to remove and replace it. So I'm probably going to do that in a year's time, only because what I would have chosen and what was the same price was the one with the crank so that I could open the skylight a little bit and have a little fresh air in the bathroom. But in the meantime, it's drywalled and stuck in. This is finished. This is what they consider finished. So I'm going to show you close. Okay, now it might be too bright in here for you to see. Yeah, I think it's too bright. It's just like it's too sunny, which is fine, but like you can't really see because it's getting blown out. But maybe on this side you can. It's just like this is kind of all around. It's not clean. It's not cleanly done. Like, even you can't see it's too bright. I mean, at least I have too bright of a thing, but it's just not right. So it's just not well done. So you can see the tape marks and the stuff. It's just, that's not a finished product. And on the inside of the door, they already started, but this is another area where I told them to stop because all of the tape was showing up here. It's broken and cracked, and they just left that there like that. So this is just work that's not really acceptable. Okay, and again, that's what they think is finished, and then you can see the caulking is poorly done again. So I'll be fixing it all, which I wish I didn't have to do, but at least I feel confident that I can. Okay, so I'm gonna get started by cleaning this countertop off just to get this all prepped and ready. Get like things like stickers and everything out of here. I'll vacuum, wipe out all the inside of the cabinets and everything. Just getting it ready for us to be able to move in because it's like a Tuesday and we're moving in fully on Sunday. So we'll be moving in partially on Friday and then the rest of our stuff on Sunday. So I want to have everything at least clean, even if all the projects aren't finished, everything's clean for us to be able to move right in. My cleaning supplies are This is a Blue Land glass cleaner. This is a mixture I make of half hydrogen peroxide, half water. I don't use any bleaches in the house, so this is a great one. Doesn't smell and does a great job disinfecting and cleaning. Yeah, that's what I've got. Oh, I've got bone meat also for the sinks in the tub. What I'm going to do after I get the whole shower wiped down is start the sealing the stone so that we can shower as of Sunday and take a bath. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Okay. Let me just say that we just decided not to caulk there. We just stopped as far as our arm could reach, and then we stopped. Just look. Does that make anybody else as mad as it makes me? Satisfaction of a sticker coming off easily. I know there's more of you out there like me like this. Oh, man. Yes. Who else can go on with their day knowing that those stickers came off so satisfyingly easy?
I was really hot, so we turned the air on, and now I'm really cold. And then I did a neti pot because we painted all day. And I got a bowl of cereal to bring into the bedroom. And I think it's like 11:45. I don't know, I fell asleep for a while, and then I got up. But I gotta say, I don't think it was worth it. I don't think all the shit's worth it. Send help.
Okay, see, go ahead and show them the color. Well, let me get closer. It's kind of hard to pick up the gray on the camera, but we're gonna test it because we've primed the walls white in the office in the basement. So Craig's gonna do a little a little test. Yeah, I already like it. What do you think, white or gray in the office? I already like it. It's kind of hard to see in a video, but he finished up today. He said if I need anything to let him know, but like, do we feel like it's a little too organic? I guess that's my question. I mean, he did a beautiful job around here, and then, you know, some of it's really clean and tight, and I don't mind a little bit of the holes, but then sometimes you get like this. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you say you love it, I can love it. Craig loves it. This is discolored, and I don't know what's going on with that. He might have touched some stuff up today, I don't know, but it's like, there's just some spots where it's really like scary movie. I guess is the best way I can describe it, you know, like monster scratches. So, yeah. You tell me what you think, and then like this is making me crazy because it's in the sideways, you know, it's just like not in. So, okay, I'll just wait here for your thoughts. I mean, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm standing in the fully painted office, which we got done yesterday. We did it all in one day, which was great. So Craig and I were a good painting team. And then today we're cleaning up the basement, trying to get this prepped because our pod is getting unloaded into the house today, and the house is not finished. So we're trying to get it as cleaned up as possible. And there's some other things that still need to get sanded. So we're thinking we're probably going to do like big plastic sheets over what comes in. But ideally we'll get some of the furniture down in the office. And then we still have to seal the brick and seal the floor. So we're going to put furniture on this side, seal that side, let it dry for 24 hours, move it to this side, seal that side, let it dry. And then our apartment gets moved in on Tuesday, which means that we'd like to have all that sealing and everything done. So when the movers come back, they can actually get the furniture where it needs to go, but at least make some space upstairs. And I'll take you upstairs now. Okay, so Craig is already vacuuming downstairs, so hopefully it's not causing too much problem. Yesterday, the plaster finished the wall. We're gonna ask him to come back and just do a little perfecting because we wanted it to be organic, but it feels a little, like I asked him yesterday, I was like, is it too organic? So we may have him come back and just perfect, maybe do a little sanding, but that's going to cause dust. We also have a lot of drywall work around here that has to get taken care of. Also going to create dust. So what we're trying to do is get an area or a couple areas cleaned up so that when the pod comes in today, they can actually just make like little squares of storage piled high. So that way the plasters can still move around easily. Like they need to do each window. There's some work up here that needs to happen. So we've got a job ahead of us. I haven't been doing much filming because actually we've been racing to the finish line, and picking up the camera is just like not been on my mind at all. But I have sealed the doors. I stained all the doors. I mean, it's just been a little bit of chaos. But I'm awake. I'm alive. I'm functioning. So let's keep going. I'll do a progress report later. Okay, so we're standing in my little laundry area, and I know a lot of people have this issue where the washer and dryer has to stick out really far from the back in order to house the vent and the piping and everything. Ours is sticking out probably about, I want to say 8 inches. And I know that there's a way to push it in. There's like a direct vent. The contractor said that there's a stud in the way. I just feel like there's a way. So what would you do? Would you put a shelf behind it? Or would you be like me and try to fight for getting like at least 3 inches? Like even if I just got 3 inches, I feel like I'd be a lot happier because this is where I'm doing laundry between here and here. And it's at no room, but in this little cubby here is going to be the folding drying rack. And I'd like to be able to pull that out and set it here to dry clothing. And so if I push this back, I'll have just enough space to be able to stand here and let the clothing hang. And the great thing about the clothing hanging here is there's a vent register right here, and that vent register will, obviously blow warm air up. So I'm gonna fight for those few inches. I think it can happen. I also feel like he said he would open the wall on the exterior, and he never came back to do that, and just decided at some point that I think he just doesn't want to do it. So that's where we're at. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna set you up right here, hopefully. That's a good angle. So we're back upstairs in the bathroom, and I hired these guys to come in, like a handyman team, and it's a handyman and a plasterer that have come in to fix some of the issues that we were having, like the shade on the skylight wasn't coming down because it was stuck behind the drywall. So he cut that, and now the shade can come down and be functional. He fixed like these really bad brush strokes that it's just not painted properly. We didn't paint this room. Number one, we didn't paint it, and then also they didn't finish the drywall before the guy came in to paint it. So I'm gonna have to repaint this space, which is fine because luckily it already has mostly one coat. So I'll just have to do a minimal primer and then just one coat of the white. I don't know if I'm in the camera. Anyway, but that has already gotten fixed. It's gonna get caulked and sanded, which will be really great. And then this bathroom area where I was showing you the other day that had all of drywall mistake, undone drywall, is so much better. So I'll show you that right now. Okay, so you can see already this is unpainted, but look at how well it's done. I think that there's still a bit of caulking that they're gonna do, but there were holes in here before, and then when you would close the door, which is currently in the shower, when you would close the door, light would show through here. So he put another piece of trim up here and then did a beautiful job curving it so that it would match what was already there. And then now when you close the door, it's nice and tight. And then inside this room, he's been working on cleaning up all of this drywall because this was like not finished up to the door. And so he's got to sand it all today, but already you can see, I think I showed you this spot. He's got it filled in so that way he can sand it and have it be a nice smooth surface for us. So I'm super grateful that they're here doing all that. And then this morning he'll come in and start sanding the bedroom so that I can get this painted before we move in. But I've got to get this room set up this morning also for the movers because we've got to make space for the bed. So yeah, I'll be up here in a little bit. I'll show you more.
They were emptying the pod into the house, and about halfway through is where I finally broke. After weeks of 10-hour days, every single day, it all caught up. My husband came in the middle of his workday to bring me snacks and support. When I got home that evening after 6, I started crying almost uncontrollably and then throwing up. It was an involuntary response of a person who'd held it together for far too long. All the stress was flying out of me and the upset had to go somewhere. I was absolutely exhausted and thought that I would sleep it off or at least recover a bit while I was sleeping. But my worry and my stress just kept me awake with my eyes so wide through the entire night. When my husband woke up the next morning, he looked at me in obvious distress. I started crying and throwing up again once our eyes met. The decision fatigue and exhaustion just wouldn't allow me to make any more decisions. Craig kicked into gear and set up an extra week in our apartment so that I had a little more time to get through what needed to get through and to take a day off, which is what I really needed most. And in the midst of all this, I wasn't really liking the fireplace wall, and it was also adding stress because I was worried that I was going to have to take the wall down. But luckily,
just finished fixing it up. It looks phenomenal. This is what we were thinking. And then we can paint it the same white as the wall once it's all dried down. So it too will have the mineral paint and it'll just be bright white. So it'll be the texture, but the color of the walls. So good now. Man, it's just much cleaner. And I think once it gets painted white, man, yeah, I feel a lot better about it.
all I can say after my experience is nothing is worth this level of compromise, of well-being. So keep that in mind if you're about to tackle a renovation.